on in because The Chi is back. It's season 7 of The Chi, and not too many of our shows make it to a season 7, so congratulations. This episode is called Black Friday, episode 1. This episode to me was dark. The subject matter was dark, and the lighting was dark. I did notice a lot of things were highlighted in purple and green, so I looked it up. And I found out that purple and green in a movie, it symbolizes contrasting themes representing dualities such as good and evil, hope versus despair, and creativity versus conformity. I didn't know if I had to adjust the color of my television set. To me, the set is just too dark, and my only request is that they lighten it up a bit. Okay, so we're in season 7, episode 1, and we know from last season that Duda and Rob were both killed. So we open up this season with Alicia, Rob's mom. She has a gun, and she looks like she's at Nuck's house while he's sleeping in his bed, and she wakes him up, and she wants to know who killed her son or why he killed her son. And then Rob tells Alicia that Zay, that little Zay run around little drug dealer, that little kid from last year, he's not a kid, but that guy from last year, that Zay, he said that Zay killed her son. And what he did was he brought his body, Rob's body, back to Alicia's house so she could give him a proper burial. So he's like saying how, basically trying to convince her that he was sympathetic to her and it was like a kind gesture. But what I didn't know is that Nuck and Zay are cousins. I don't remember knowing that from last year. So what Alicia has to go do, Alicia has to go over to Tiffany's and tell Tiffany that Rob's dead. And we see a scene with them. There was no sound, but you could tell by her coming over late at night and then Tiffany, falling out a bit about this. What we see next is Nuck. Since Duda is dead, and I believe he killed Duda, that he's the new man in charge. So there's going to be new rules under his leadership. He doesn't want the guys that are working under him to be flashy. He doesn't want to have any disrespect. So if you disrespect him, you'll get killed. Off top. That's just how it is. He tells them to humble themselves and keep a low profile. He tells them also that he's a new father, or that he is a father, and he has a son out in the world, and that's the most important thing to him. But he does shout out 53rd over everything. That's probably the street they live on, a little gang thing they do, and that's their slogan. I don't know. It's just so silly. But anyway, though Nuck, he encourages Bakari to keep writing his book and make a goal is to get out of the ghetto. He wants that for him. So that's, nice to see him doing that. I mean, he's such a killer, but he does want the best for this kid, and he's encouraging him to keep writing, focus on that to get out of his situation. Bakari knows it's dangerous, and he wants to get out, but he can't. And he sided with his friends, and he didn't stay with Lene last season. He went off with the guys to do gang activity, and so he's out with Lene. So he needs a place to stay, and he's losing everything that he really wants. He wants to stay in school. So he talks to his teacher, or that college professor that he met, who's played by Kadeem Hardison. and he desperately needs a place to stay because things didn't work out with his girl. And his teacher, he speaks to what I found out was his wife, who is a friend of Alicia. She was the judge that I think dismissed Victor's trial last season. So, Kadeem Hardison's character, the professor, he speaks to his wife to talk to Alicia. Apparently, Alicia has some type of scholarship that she offers once a year, and he wants Alicia to give that scholarship to Bakari. That way he'll have a place to stay, room and board. Everything will be free to him. And it's weird because Alicia's friend Michelle, she doesn't want to bother her right now. Her son was just killed. But she does ask Alicia if she would give that scholarship. It's in her family's name. I don't know how they got involved with that, but give this scholarship to this young man. And she wants to meet the young man first. So they set up a meeting. Bakari meets with Alicia, and she wants to know a little bit about him. And I think she knows he's like one in the gang, and I guess he convinces her, that he's worthy of the scholarship. So she wants in return, she tells him that you owe me your life. What I don't like about this, you should be helping these kids. This guy has focus on something else, a book. It's about, his upbringing, which is, all these terrible things that happen to people that live on the streets, and the drugs, the guns, the gang, all that, the murders. And he's trying to help himself do better for himself. And you're going to come in here and tell him, I'll give this to you, but he has to owe you this in a way that's, it's illegal. That just bothered me. That she would just use somebody like that who's really trying to keep him just in a sunken place, it's just awful. And her scholarship is something that will cement him into the ghetto. And that's just wrong. There was a brief scene with Rosalind, of course, played by Candy Barris, who was the wife of Duda. Alicia and her friend that owned the cigar lounge, they were all meeting up to discuss funeral arrangements. They're going to have a funeral for Duda. And Alicia, she said she's going to show up just to make sure he's dead. That's that woman's husband. But the three of them get together, and it was just a brief little scene. I swear, Lynn Whitfield, side note, is always coming up in these shows, playing the same character. She is quite the evil woman. Quite the evil. I mean, there's absolutely no range from show to show. She's always playing that. She does it very well. They also speak about getting back to the people that killed their loved ones, but Rosalind is not going to do the killing herself because her manicure costs too much. Well, at least that's a reason not to do it yourself. We see Tiff grieving bad. It's hard for her to get out of bed. Her mother's there. Keisha's there to support her. Jada was there. And Tracy, who lost her son in gun violence, was there to support her. She's going through a lot. Tiffany asked Keisha if she would take care of her son, EJ, full time, because she's unable to care for him. And she doesn't think her mom can care for him either. And EJ is Emmett's son. I mean, he's named after him, for goodness sakes. And then we know Keisha has her son, Ronnie, and she's currently pregnant with Emmett's baby. Keisha did mention that Emmett has never taken care of any of his kids full time. That is so sad. So many men haven't. And then when she did ask Emmett about taking in EJ full time, he had something to say about it. Goodness sakes, that is your kid. Your girlfriend, oh, I don't think I got married, but whatever. She is willing to help her friend, your ex-wife, take care of your son, and you have an argument about it? Unbelievable. And you got other sons out there too. He was worried about the money and all this and that, but my God, it's your son. You have to make sacrifices for your son. Side note, EJ looks more like Papa's son. Now we have Nuck. He's interacting with that pastor from that mega church. Zay's girlfriend's dad. He no longer has those goofy glasses on that he had last year. I'm sure he got negative feedback on that. Me being one of them. Apparently the church is hiding street money. And it's so sad because many of these church goers don't know what's really going on with their home church, especially in the South or in Black communities and underserved communities. It's just corruption everywhere. Everywhere. You loyally go to these people. And this is what Nucky's doing. He's going there. And I guess what they hide it under spiritual guidance. Then the minister, he invoices you. And in this case, the minister is going to invoice him $2,000 a session. So the church is a total sham. These preachers are taking money and they're invoicing it, calling it a spiritual advisor. I mean, it just makes me wonder, how much does TD Jakes charge? We see Nuck, he's being a good father. This guy, he is like, there's a good father in him. He does have that baby they found out that Keisha had was not by the rapist, but by Nuck. And he goes over there to pick up his son for a little father-son visit. And Keisha's upstairs getting the baby ready. And Nuck and Emmett sit on the couch. And Emmett is very jumpy because he knows he's out there killing folks. And Nuck tells him, if you don't disrespect me, you're not going to get killed. And he gets his son. And Keisha encourages Emmett to go with Nuck and little Ronnie. They're going out to the gardens and look at, there's some animals there and some plants or whatnot. And then we see these guys together. These two guys, one who's basically been a good kid all his life, and this gangster guy, the street running dude, the head mobster guy, walking this little boy and both fathering this little boy. That was really nice to see. But Nuck's background is just so confusing, how he is such a gangster, but he has, I guess fairly normal rules. He's not like Duda. He's a much better gangster. He's encouraging some of his guys. If you got the talent to get out, get out. That's some good side of him. He's trying to be a good dad to this little boy. But then there's some crazy sides of Nuck too, with the minister. And he has this saying or belief that he won't kill his relatives, but he'll set up his relatives to be killed. He's complicated. We get to see Jake. I like to see Jake. He was like my favorite of the three boys in the previous seasons. And his hair is so long. He comes to, I guess, that garage where Zay works, and he returned money that Zay gave him. And they got in a fight, and Zay punched him, beat him up really good. And later, Victor saw it, and he made Jake tell him what happened. And so he told him it was Zay. And then we see Victor go up to Zay, put a gun on him, and threaten him about, messing with his little brother. So and then he ran off, or he walked off. So I don't know if there's going to be something with that scene later in the seasons or the episodes. It's going to build on something. What it is, I don't know. Because we see Alicia tie up Zay, and she has her shod with her and her friend that owns a cigar lounge, and they have him tied in the chair. And Alicia pulls out a gun, and Zay's about to tell her something because, she believes that he killed her son, and she just shoots him because she didn't want. Last time she had Doodah, she was ready to shoot Doodah, and Nuck ended up killing Doodah before she could. So this time she killed Zay before he could finish what he was saying, because I believe he was going to say it was Rob. Oh, no, it was Nuck that killed Rob. Alicia believes she killed the right guy, so that's going to unfold. There was one little scene with Emmett, his dad, and his brother. They were drinking at a table, so I'm glad to see he will be in future episodes. Victor told his girlfriend Fatima, she's the trans lady, the trans woman, I should say, that told her that he got into it with Zay. And she's really scared. She wants to leave Chicago now because all this trouble. She doesn't want to be around it anymore. And he tells her that, that she is not his whole life, that Chicago is his life. So he can't leave Chicago. He's stuck there. So I don't know if this is her out. Is she going to leave the season and a new love interest will come into Victor's life? That's interesting. I wonder if that's going to happen. And then the last scene, we see Tiff, and she's grieving in her bathroom. She's sitting on the toilet, and they pan over to the bathroom counter, and she has a pregnancy test, and we can all assume that she's pregnant with her dead boyfriend Rob's baby. I'm sure it's going to be a boy, and that's Alicia's only grandchild, so they're going to be stuck like glue for life. That's how I see this season or the story going. It was an okay setup for things. It was just kind of gloomy and sad, really, really sad with the dark colors. But I'm looking forward to this season. It just has to get happier. I'm watching the show forever. Actually, I watched it. I actually reviewed it. Please check it out on my channel. That's the kind of shows I'm into now. I want to see some more happy stuff. I'm in my soft girl era these days. It's hard with these killings all the time. Nobody wants to see that all the time. So I hope that the Chi can get to a happier place. And I'll be reviewing for the rest of the season. So please come back. Thank you for staying with me to the end. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And I thank you in advance. But I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.